This is CBC Vancouver News.
Even if it will not things back together, at least it will show them that somebody cares for them.
4 weeks after tragedy struck a Filipino street festival, support continues to pour in as a tribute event is held in honor of the families directly impacted in Surrey. Also, a rare landspout tornado was captured on video near Vanderhoof this week. Environment Canada says it's BC's first tornado of the season. Plus,
I'm happy that we get to do this in the community to honor Rick and build his legacy.
joining forces, how a ball hockey tournament in memory of a fallen BC Mountie is bringing together first responders and youth. Hello, thanks for joining us. It's now been almost a month since the Lapu-Lapu Day Festival tragedy, and support for the victims and their families continues to pour in. Earlier tonight, an event was held in honor of those directly impacted, including 9 families in Surrey.
It really made us very sad in the last few weeks, and some of us are not even go back on our normal lives, even if we were not there when it happened, and that's why we thought we had to do something, because we feel that even if it will not things back together, at least it will show them that somebody cares for them and that we are here for them.
11 people were killed after an SUV plowed through a crowd at the Vancouver Lapu-Lapu Day Festival on April 26. Nearly 30 others were injured.
It's really encouraging and uplifting to see, other communities come together across here in Surrey. I mean, obviously it happened in Vancouver, but we're seeing events like this happen across the province, across the country, and it really shows how deeply impacted and how people still need to process what had happened.
The province says 7 people remain in hospital, with 1 still in serious condition. The family of a woman who died after a Victoria police officer shot at her with plastic bullets says they will be requesting a coroner's inquest in hopes of bringing about change. On Friday, the Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner ruled the officer abused his authority, calling the action reckless and unnecessary. Catherine Marlowe reports.
Sergeant Ron Kirkwood was one of the police officers who responded to a call on Christmas Day 2019. Lisa Rausch had barricaded herself in a room at a supportive housing unit where she had been visiting a friend. Rausch struggled with mental health and was in what witnesses described as a drug-induced psychosis.
She had a terrible life because she was mentally ill, she was addicted, but she was funny. She loved her family.
Police had been waiting for crisis communicators to arrive, but decided to act when they noticed fire coming from the suite. In just 46 seconds, they opened the door, allowed firefighters to spray water and shrink the fire, and Kirkwood shot an R1 weapon 3 times. That's a rifle that shoots plastic bullets. Because of the smoke, Kirkwood said he thought he shot Rausch in the abdomen, but it was actually her head. She died in hospital a few days later.
There was reference made to seconds. There's fire alarms that are going off in the building. There's reduced visibility. There's talk about the fire and the urgency to get into that suite, which I think is important to take into account.
1 minute, he probably doesn't shoot. He was shooting when the fire guys were going out the door.
I would really hope that this has a deterrent effect on how people are dealt with.
While previous internal and external investigations found the officer had acted reasonably, retired Judge Wally Opal, presiding over the Police Complaints Commission hearing, said it was, quote, reckless and unnecessary to fire as quickly as he did without knowing what he was shooting at. Opal will recommend disciplinary action at a later date.
It's a difficult day for everyone, and I think I just need to take time to read the decision and kind of process what the next steps would be.
Catherine Marlowe, CBC News, Victoria.
The city of Kamloops says a fire at Kenna Cartwright Park has been knocked down and contained. It says Kamloops Fire Rescue will have a crew on site overnight to monitor the fire, and residents will see smoke and flames into the morning. Crews will return in the morning to continue extinguishing hot spots. The 1.1 hectare wildfire is now listed by the BC Wildfire Service as under control and is suspected to be human-caused. BC's first tornado of the year touched down near the municipality of Vanderhoof, west of Prince George, earlier this week.
Given it a preliminary designation in terms of strength as an EF0, so the lowest scale on the tornado scale. The landspout tornado was generated kind of by, very weak rotation from some rapidly kind of growing clouds or weak thunderstorms.
Environment Canada says landspout tornadoes generally do not usually cause significant damage, but can still be dangerous as they can topple trees. No damage has been reported as a result of Wednesday's tornado. U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is weighing in on the controversial decision to kill a flock of ostriches in BC's West Kootenay over avian flu concerns. Kennedy has written a letter to the president of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency asking him to reconsider the culling of nearly 400 ostriches. Kennedy says he spoke with CFIA President Paul McWhinnie on Thursday and hopes a collaboration with the Canadian agency will help them better understand how to protect human and animal populations from avian flu and perhaps lead to the development of new vaccines and therapeutics. He also says the U.S. would provide support in research and retesting the birds. In a statement, the CFIA confirms the phone call and says they have received the letter, adding they have a duty to protect Canadians from the serious potential risks of highly pathogenic avian influenza. It comes as dozens of protesters rally around the farm, calling for an end to the cull. This year's warm start to spring has led to an increase in pollen levels across BC, and as Saurabh Sandhu reports, it means seasonal allergies are hitting some people harder than ever.
Spring, a time to be outdoors and enjoy the sunshine, can sometimes come with its challenges for those struggling with pollen allergies. Some say this year has been particularly hard.
Eyes, nose, I feel like I can't breathe this year, especially out of my nose.
The nose gets stuffier and everything just gets a little bit worse.
Others say their allergy symptoms seem to be lasting longer and are more intense.
Usually it starts in around April, ends around May or June, but I've noticed it getting here later and later.
Generally speaking, the springtime pollens are the tree pollens, and the summertime pollens are the grass pollens. So we're in this awkward few weeks now where there's a bit of an overlap of both.
Experts say this year there is more pollen in the air due to a combination of warmer temperatures and higher levels of carbon dioxide.
Scientists around the world have tested what happens to pollen producers when they're offered up more CO2. Time and time again, the results show significant increases in pollen production.
Lowe says common pollen producers like dandelions and cottonwood do not pose a threat as the particles are too big to enter the human body. He says it's more the invisible pollens that can cause harm.
Generally speaking, tree pollens that tend to affect patients the most in the lower mainland, it tends to be the alder and birch tree pollens, followed closely by the cedar trees. And it seems like in the last few weeks, there's been a big blip of the pine, spruce, and fir trees as well.
He says anyone dealing with allergies should avoid being outdoors for too long and suggests keeping windows closed.
Whenever anybody gets home, have a change of clothes so you don't spread the pollen all throughout the place. Some people even go so far as to shower or to use salt water rinses to rinse out all the sinuses.
And as extreme weather events become more frequent, experts say allergy season is only expected to get worse. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Surrey.
New research about sea levels suggests an urgent need to plan for the future. It says waters will rise by meters, not centimeters, and that acting today could protect millions in the decades and centuries to come. Johanna Wagstaff explains.
Imagine sea levels were up here instead of down there. This isn't theoretical, it's happening. Okay, so not in a couple years, but over a couple centuries, which means now is exactly when we need to start planning. How we build our cities, how we adapt our coastlines, zoning laws, flood maps, seawalls, wetlands. This isn't abstract, it's about staying ahead of the water. Because even if we cap warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius, the oceans aren't done rising. Scientists just reran the numbers, drawing on ancient coral, sediment, fossil shorelines, and found that the last time Earth was this warm, about 125,000 years ago, sea levels were 4 to 10 meters higher. That's because ice takes time to melt, but once it starts, it's hard to stop. Greenland and Antarctica, that ice won't collapse overnight, but once they go, they don't quit. It's like tipping a jug of water. You can't freeze it mid-pour. Even conservative projections show a 1 meter sea level rise in 75 years, but it keeps going from there. Right now, about 230 million people live on land less than 1 meter above sea level. About 1 billion within 10 meters. That's 1 in 8 people on Earth. So no, your entire city isn't going underwater tomorrow, but this is coming, and we've still got time to get ready.
That's Johanna Wagstaff reporting. Hudson's Bay is planning to sell more than 24 of its store leases to a BC billionaire mall owner. Ruby Liu says she wants to launch a new modern department store. The company is seeking court permission for Liu to take over a group of properties that the Bay and its sister store Saks leased in BC, Alberta, and Ontario. Hudson's Bay filed for creditor protection in March and is in the process of liquidating all of its stores. The deal still has yet to be approved in court. A memorial event in honor of a BC Mountie who was shot and killed while on duty nearly 2 years ago saw first responders and community members joining forces. The second annual ball hockey tournament aims to bridge the gap between law enforcement and young people. And as Michelle Morton reports, police say it also helps officers deal with tragedy.
Kids and first responders playing on the same team. A tournament Nicole O'Brien says she and her late husband used to talk about organizing.
He loved being with kids. He worked with kids, at-risk kids and kids with disabilities before he became a police officer.
She says it was important to him to try to break down the barrier between law enforcement and youth. And this year's Joint Forces Jamboree is an even bigger opportunity to do that.
We had tons of people last year. We were able to grow the event. Actually went from 16 teams to 20 teams this year, which is really exciting. We've added Special Olympics BC this year.
Constable Rick O'Brien was shot and killed while executing a search warrant in Coquitlam in September of 2023. 2 other officers were injured in the shooting, a 25-year-old resident charged in connection.
I was at the scene when this happened, and so just coming from such a negativity and just coming back now and just seeing complete opposite, this positive kind of environment is just, well, it's another goal, right? Kids clapping their sticks like that just gives me goosebumps when I think about it.
Outside the rink, volunteers and supporters of O'Brien's mission.
The bag says there is no age or height requirement to change the world, and I believe it's sort of a mission statement that Rick's, and it really does bring home the point that anybody can make a difference.
Well, we couldn't make it last year, so I needed to come out this year, and yeah, just to raise awareness.
I'm also a member with Ridge Meadows Detachment, and unfortunately I was around during the day where, tragedy happened with Constable Rick O'Brien. So volunteered last year, this year just here with the family and just here to support everybody.
I'm happy that we get to do this in the community to honor Rick and build his legacy. I miss him every day, but having days like this, I know walks with me, and he'll be taking this in all with me.
She says she's already planning next year's event, including new initiatives through the Joint Forces Foundation. Michelle Morton, CBC News, Maple Ridge.
The community of Kimberley honored a local legend at this weekend's McWhinnie Day. It's an annual celebration paying tribute to a former city councillor who was the driving force behind the construction of the Kimberley skate park. Corey Bullock has more.
For these kids, the Bob McWhinnie Memorial Skate Park is more than just a spot to hang out.
I'm glad it's here, or else I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be going outside or anything.
Yeah, I really like the skate park. It's fun. Think that if it wasn't here, Kimberley would be boring.
It's a testament to the legacy that Bob McWhinnie leaves behind. McWhinnie was a city councillor and a substitute teacher. He's credited for the building of the skate park, and he died in 2010 from cancer.
He was like your classic Kimberley dude. He liked biking and the outdoors, and yeah, he was just a lot of fun to hang around with.
Every year since his passing, the community comes together to celebrate Bob and what he helped build. The event raises money and funds go towards park maintenance and improvements.
People love McWhinnie Day. They love Bob, for sure. And, I think it's really great that the kids have a place to come down, and try out their skills. And they get good. They're really good, the kids,
He says kids are the reason Bob wanted to build the park in the first place.
You don't need a lot of money to have a skateboard or a BMX or a scooter or whatever, and you can come down and, there's no fee to ride, and older people can enjoy the park alongside kids, and so it's a really awesome environment, and I think that's part of the reason Bob made it.
And the kids think so too.
It's such a great event. I think it's a way to get people together and just show off your skills and stuff.
There's all these fun prizes, good way to remember Bob.
Something this community plans on doing for years to come. Corey Bullock, CBC News, Kimberley.
Canada's head of state will be visiting next week, and excited fans of the Royals are hoping to catch a glimpse of King Charles in what will be his first visit since taking the crown. That's next. Stay with us. A chance to see royalty in person is a once-in-a-lifetime prospect for most of us. But that chance is coming to Ottawa this week. King Charles and Queen Camilla are visiting. The CBC's Nicole Williams has a look at the anticipation ahead of it.
Derek Sakeley is a self-proclaimed royal superfan, and he's got an impressive collection to prove it. Mugs, plates, dolls, you name it, all commemorating the British monarchy. He gave CBC a tour a few years ago, and now he's one of many in Ottawa hoping for a chance to meet King Charles and Queen Camilla while they're here.
I have like my King Charles flags ready to wave, getting some friends together. We're gonna go down and hopefully see them.
It will be their first visit to Canada since becoming king and queen, but it's not their first time in Ottawa. In fact, Charles and Camilla were here just 3 years ago, but that day, Sakeley was working.
So this year I'm taking off, so I'll be able to maybe get a glimpse of him.
And the royal superfan will have a few chances to do just that. There are a number of public events planned in downtown Ottawa that anyone can attend.
They want to meet people, they want to have conversations. So people should go out and they should enjoy. Don't be nervous, enjoy the day.
But the main purpose of this trip about much more than getting a glimpse of royalty. The king will deliver the speech from the throne, which officially opens the next session of Parliament.
Now the time has come for Her Majesty to read the speech from the throne.
It will be only the third time a reigning monarch has done so. Charles's mother, Queen Elizabeth II, delivering the speech in 1957 and 1977. But this time, the King's speech is meant to send a message about Canada's sovereignty, particularly as the U.S. president has mused about Canada becoming a 51st state.
How that relationship is one between two independent nations, and how the king very much fully respects Canadian independence.
This is all happening while the UK navigates its own relationship with the Trump administration.
It's an invitation for a second state visit.
The king personally inviting the president back to the UK for another visit and a state dinner. Experts say both Canada and the UK are each doing what they need to do to protect their own interests. In this case, the king playing a key role in both storylines. Nicole Williams, CBC News, Ottawa.
King Charles recently received a ceremonial key commemorating 100 years of Canada House in the UK. He is the only other royal to receive this key after his great-grandfather, King George V. The key was designed by Morgan Asoff, a local Shimshan artist from Prince Rupert, now based in North Vancouver. She explains how moments like this contribute to reconciliation of Indigenous cultures.
I think that it's really important that us, especially as Indigenous women, are recognized on the same level as, you know, any monarchy in the world. Like our matriarchs are on the same level as like any other hierarchy that's out there. And so claiming that through the art form or any way that we can is a beautiful thing. That's spiritual power right there.
This is how Vancouver woke up this morning. A gorgeous sunny start to the day. Is there more sun on the way? I'll have your full forecast next.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, let's take a look at your weekend weather, beginning with a quick peek at the current temperatures around the province tonight. A little bit of rain up in Fort St. John with a low of 8 overnight. Warmer in Kamloops and Kelowna around 12 overnight, and on the island in Victoria and Tofino, both 9 overnight. Heading into tomorrow, Dease Lake is going to see a mix of sun and clouds with a chance of thunderstorms and a high of 11 for tomorrow. A lot of rain in certain places, including Williams Lake and Prince George. Heading over onto the island, more rain is expected for Victoria, but the sun is going to peak out a little bit, so your temperature is looking more like a high of 17 for tomorrow. A bit more overcast in Tofino with a high of 13, but again, with those scattered showers. Heading into the 5-day forecast for Metro Vancouver, 19 is our high for Sunday. It's going to be relatively dry tomorrow, but we do have about a 75% chance of rain for Monday. And if you look to the later of next week, it looks like those temperatures are going to start rising. That is your late news for Saturday, May 24th. Thank you so much for watching. To keep up to date with all the latest news, head to our website at cbc.ca/bc. We'll see you tomorrow.